News Alert.
We are following the latest developments in the Amy Mihaljevic murder mystery. Thanks for joining us at 6 o'clock. I'm Tiffany Tucker.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Brian Duffy. Unsolved for more than 35 years now, 19 News has learned that DNA testing could happen this summer on hair that was collected as evidence, and the results could lead to Amy's killer.
Well, that hair was recently detected from this curtain and blanket Amy was wrapped in when her body was dumped in a field in Ashland County. The 10-year-old was kidnapped 4 months before in Bay Village.
A Bay Village detective says right now the FBI is working to confirm the hair is not Amy's. If it's not, a world-renowned lab in California would run new, highly sensitive tests on that hair. These new tests have the potential now to identify Amy's killer.
And that's not all. From California to Florida, tonight we're taking you inside a lab in Deerfield Beach.
And that is where scientists testing Amy clothing recently discovered new DNA evidence in a 19 News exclusive. Nicole Versansky is showing us how they found it.
February 1990, a jogger discovers the body of a little girl, stabbed, laying in a cold field off a county road in rural Ashland County.
Body had decomposed because it appeared it had been there for a while.
Carl Reichert was the first detective on the scene. The image haunts him to this day. Within an hour, they knew it was Amy Mihaljevic, a 10-year-old who had been missing for 4 months, kidnapped from a shopping plaza more than 50 miles away in Bay Village.
I've never been down that road, don't care to go down that road.
Mark Mihaljevic has never seen the field where his daughter was found. But now, 35 years later, new DNA testing on evidence from that field could finally identify Amy's killer.
Do you think the answer to who killed Amy Mihaljevic could be in this lab behind you?
Possibly. Time will tell.
Rachel Aveline is the Chief Scientific Officer for DNA Labs International in Deerfield Beach, Florida. The lab working with Bay Village Police. Just this past August, scientists here found DNA from a man on Amy's sweatpants. DNA that had never been detected before. We flew to Florida for an exclusive look at how this technology works.
Really, it starts in the evidence vault.
Inside the evidence vault is Amy's clothing, the sweatshirt, sweatpants, underwear, and socks she was wearing when she was found. They're held here until they're screened and tested.
What happens here? What are we seeing here?
So this is the screening area that's happening. So this is where all items of evidence are screened for the presence of possible blood, semen, saliva, and then samples are taken forward for DNA.
To get inside the lab, there are strict rules, including submitting our own DNA sample through a mouth swab, wearing protective gear, and not touching anything during our tour.
You have the different vacuums, the pressure, the solution.
This is a highly sensitive MVAC system, the machine that collected the male DNA in Amy's case.
Which is basically like a fancy forensic vacuum.
Scientists laid Amy's sweatpants on a screening table, pinpointing where to test.
We're trying to target where they may have actually come into contact with the offender.
A section on the back of Amy's sweatpants was tested with the MVAC. This sample video shows the machine in action.
And it's essentially kind of washing it. It's like a wet vacuum. And then when you run back over it, you're going to suck that liquid back up. That's going to go into a reservoir where all that liquid is collected. Your DNA will be mixed into there. And what you end up having is a filter that kind of looks almost like a Clearasil pad. It's like a little silver dollar size filter paper that will have all of your DNA material on it.
That filter is cut into tiny pieces, put in test tubes, and into this robotic machine where chemicals and heat are added. It gets shaken up, basically to pull out the DNA.
It's like cracking open the egg and all the DNA is on side of the yolk. But we got to get rid of the eggshell. We got to get rid of the egg white. All the other parts of the yolk we don't want. So we have to separate everything out.
The results are entered into a computer and measured.
So we can see how much human DNA we have, how much of that DNA might be male.
In Amy's case, the male DNA collected is too small of a sample to test further to be able to identify a suspect. But new, even more sensitive technology is coming soon, possibly by the end of the year.
So if we know we have a technology coming down the pipeline that could be useful for an item of evidence, we'll say, hold on, don't test this yet.
Because is there a chance if you test that DNA, you lose that DNA?
Yes, exactly. So a lot of times you only have one shot at this, so we want to be very careful and cautious.
And you guys are solving cases.
Yes. Helping to. Law enforcement solves cases. We just give a little piece of the puzzle.
A little piece of the puzzle, but one that could lead to Amy's killer.
We're just looking for that piece that connects it all or connects a person to it.
Since the day he discovered Amy's body, Chief Deputy Carl Reichert kept Amy's picture in his office. It was there until the day he retired. He has never forgotten.
Is this the one specific case that still just haunts you?
Stuck, yeah. I'm stuck on this one.
Mark Mihaljevic has always believed DNA would be the key to solving his daughter's murder. The link to the call he's been waiting 35 years to receive.
A lot of tears of sadness and joy shed at that moment, I guarantee you that.
When Amy's killer has finally been caught.
So from that lab in Florida working with Amy's clothing to now the lab in California potentially testing hair, there's really some positive momentum moving forward to be able to bring Amy justice in this case. Now, I did speak with the co-founder of that lab in California today. She says if they do get the hair to test this summer, as far as the timeline, it's about a 6 to 8 week turnaround, so they could have results by this fall.
Could you imagine 35 years later to get this solved?
Gives me goosebumps just to think about
It's a great story. It becomes even greater if it actually happens, right? All right, Nikki, thank you. And Nikki is going to take an even deeper dive into the DNA testing being done in this case. It's a podcast that just launched. It's part of our Dark Side of the Land podcast series, Who Killed Amy Mihaljevic? Find it now wherever you get your podcasts.